Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite movies, and today I'm going to do a movie review on a movie that isn't released lately, and I want to do that more often. But today I will be doing a classic movie review where I will be talking about A City of Sadness, or in Mandarin, 悲情城市, written and directed by legendary Taiwanese filmmaker Hsiao-Hsien. So yeah, this movie is considered a classic by many, especially if you're part of the East Asian film circle, especially if you're from Taiwan. This would be a huge movie for you. If you're Western, then you probably haven't heard much about this movie, and I would understand why, but this is one of the most important films in Taiwanese film history. So let's talk about Hou Xiaoxian a little bit. He is part of the group of filmmakers in Taiwan called the Taiwanese New Wave or Taiwan New Wave, where we have a lot of social realist films that do a lot of long takes, a lot of still shots. They're usually very slow paced, and they're inspired the realist movements in Japanese cinema. Of course, I've covered Yi Yi by Edward Yang, which is one of my favorite films of all times. And I don't think I've seen that many other Taiwanese films other than that. And of course, last year I watched Flowers of Shanghai, which was a really woozy, dreamy, also incredibly abstract film where almost nothing happens, and it's a very, very, very difficult film to sit through, but I managed to sit through it, and I have to rewatch it in order to further grasp it. But essentially, Flowers of Shanghai came out in 1998, A City of Sadness came out in 1989, and this movie is about white terror. And if you don't know what white terror is, it is essentially how in the Chinese Civil War between the Kuomintang, aka the Nationalist Party, running up against the CCP, aka the Chinese Communist Party, we ended up having a situation where the Kuomintang fled to Taiwan while the CCP stayed in China and conquered China. So what happened was while the CCP was doing their thing with Great Leap Forward and Cultural Revolution, trying to kill all the capitalists and trying to cause massive I don't know how to say it in English. Trying to cause massive unrest. Okay, what are you doing? Trying to cause massive unrest by having people rat each other out and spy on each other. We also have the counterpart to that, where Kuomintang, aka the Nationalist Party in Taiwan, is doing what's called a white terror, where they try to kill all the communists and have the people rat each other out. So, this is one of the most horrifying and most troubling periods of time Taiwan history has faced. And this is why this film touched on very sensitive topics. And it isn't only until the late 80s when filmmakers are allowed to talk about things like this in cinema, because Kuomintang was still ruling Taiwan, and albeit they were a bit less strict and authoritative than they were in the late 40s and early 50s, still, topics like this, the 228 incident, the mass killings, are being silenced and censored. So, yeah, given that it is a Hou Xiao-Hsien film, this is an extremely slow moving film with a lot of still shots and long takes. And after watching several fast paced mainstream films, I find myself able to enjoy it and sit through the first act of the film a little easier than I'd expected. Um, but yeah, it's still tough for me to watch really, really, really slow films. And throughout second act, I was beginning to be a little bored. I was distracted a couple times. But one thing I have to say for sure is that the cinematography and the production design is absolutely beautiful. And that is all thanks to Ozu. Japanese legendary filmmaker Ozu, and it's very clear that Hsiao-Hsien has really taken a page off of the Ozu notebook in terms of framing and composition with the different lines and shapes. Every single still in this film is almost like a painting because it has so much going on in one frame and so much to analyze. We have this side of the frame, that side of the frame, and it's sectioned off in several ways and characters. Some of them are in the foreground, some of them are in the background, and it's arranged in very aesthetically pleasing and also narratively arranged way. And it's gorgeous. And one reason why this film was very inaccessible to a lot of people, even for someone like me who has seen enough art house films to be able to enjoy art house cinema, is because many important events in this film happen off screen. Some of the major characters in this movie get arrested by the military, by the government, but we don't see the scene of the arrest, which would have been very climactic and intense. And sure, there are some climactic and intense scenes, but a lot of important events happen off screen. And I think Hou Xiaoxian wanted to do that to basically give us a feeling that when it comes to the world of politics, you can never expect what's going to happen. Sometimes it just happens and you can't do anything to stop it. There's a certain helplessness that this film portrays. And also, this film focuses on the major characters, the family breaking apart, rather than the political events in general. One thing I really admire this film for is that the language of this film is Hakka. It's Taiwanese Hakka. It's not Mandarin. It has a little Mandarin, it has a little Japanese, it even has a little Cantonese as well, but mostly in Hakka. And this goes to show Hou Xiaoxian's respect for the period, the same way Robert Eggers is telling people to speak in Shakespearean English, in the which, albeit it's not perfect Shakespearean English, or Robert Eggers telling the two main actors in The Lighthouse to speak in late 19th century sort of a sailor English. So there's a respect for the language and respect for the period. I guess one reason why this film ended up feeling kind of confusing for me is that there are so many characters with different relationships. It's a big family, and there are many flashbacks in the movie, actually. There are many beautiful, gorgeous flashbacks, but you don't really know it's a flashback until you watch it for a while longer, and then you realize, oh, that, I guess, okay, I think it's a flashback. Oh, okay. So yeah, definitely need to rewatch this one a couple more times to fully understand it. So I wouldn't say this is a review, this is more of a first reaction, I guess. If you tell me to give it a score, I would say it's a light 9, but honestly, I shouldn't even be giving a score. I need to rewatch it first. So, have you watched A City of Sadness? Comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.